Yes, we're back again. Kristi and Katie, your crime time friends. Stories, justice, laughs collide. True Crime Squad, come join the ride. Grab the clues, let's take a stand. For victims' voices, hand in hand. True Crime Squad, it's time to shine. Season 6, your turn, your time. True Crime Squad, where justice meets hilarity.
Hey everybody, welcome to the True Crime Squad. I'm Kristi Brower, here with my sister, co-host, and partner in crime, Katie Weaver. Hey Katie.
Hello.
How's it going? Sorry, I had to swap my camera. I was obviously facing the wrong direction for what we do on the show.
I'm fine. It warmed clear up to 17 today. We ran a few errands, and it was actually really sunny and bright and nice feeling outside. It's still cold as hell, but it really wasn't bad. When you've been sub-zero and it warms up, into the teens and 20s and the sun's shining, you feel like it's warm. So, yeah it was warm. But my goodness.
20, 25 degrees.
But the deep south and Florida are getting pounded with snow. And so really hope you guys are safe and okay. I had heard at the doctor's office on the news today that this is the worst snow that Florida has received in 130 years. That's terrifying. I hope everyone's safe.
Listen, some secrets about snow. Mm-hmm. Don't drive if you can. Just not drive. Just don't. If you have to, you keep way more space between you and all the cars around you. Mm-hmm. And everything has to happen very slowly. You brake slowly. Mm-hmm. You take off slowly. Yep. If you start to slide, don't turn out of the slide. Actually turn into it. Mm-hmm. Don't put your foot on the brake. Take it off the gas. Turn into it, because that gets your tires back in control and helps you out of a skid or a slide.
Yep, but do not brake. Yep.
Yeah, that will cause you to spin around a bunch of times like this. Yep. Which we have all done here many a time.
Sure, but
those are just a few things, Mm-hmm. Second gear is your friend. Yes, that is true if you're driving a standard.
For sure. Yeah, but go slow. Leave early. And where you guys are in a place where most people don't know how to drive in the snow, just don't go. Do not go out unless you absolutely have to. Yeah.
Yeah, if you can request to work from home because of the snow, do.
Yep.
Because your vehicles are not prepared for this. Your tires aren't prepared for this. And, most people are also not prepared for this if you don't live in it.
But also, even if you're not planning on wearing one, make sure that you have the best shoes you have, the warmest shoes you have in the car. Make sure you have a coat, a couple of blankets.
Yes. Some water.
Yeah. Maybe even a little bit of food. Like, put survival things in your car. These are things you may not... Right, you guys are hurricane ready, not snow ready. Yeah. Yeah. That's, make sure you have survival things in your car should you need them. Yeah.
How is Vincent back?
Vincent again?
What is wrong with you, you jackass?
Oh my God, Vincent, you really need to get a life, honey. Good Lord.
Again. What is the deal? And who is Vincent? Who is Vincent?
We don't even know who Vincent is. Oh, well.
We don't. I wish we did. Just kidding.
Unfortunately, Vincent is posting from his mother's basement in his very sad, lonely, pathetic incel life.
Right. And how does he keep getting unbanned?
I think he just keeps making new accounts. He must be.
Vincent Morello. All right, Vincent Morello. I'm typing that into... I haven't even tried to remember his name before, but I'm going to now.
Yeah, we probably need to lodge a complaint with YouTube.
Yeah.
Gross and weird. Teeny tiny wiener energy.
Yeah, very much so.
Yep.
Also, get a life, dude.
Yes, watch for ice on the sidewalks, Chandra, very much so. Yeah, be super careful. Just be super, super careful. Yeah.
Just know everything takes a lot more time with snow and ice.
And check in with your elderly neighbors, because this is even worse for them.
Definitely. Definitely, yeah.
Yep.
Right? Why is Vincent so obsessed with me?
Yeah.
It's been me twice in a row now.
I know. Well, it was me twice in a row. But he's just talking about your cousin parents. He was talking about my downstairs. So I don't know.
That's right. Although what he's talking about my cousin parents is also talking about your cousin parents. Which, I mean,
okay,
we're
fine.
not ashamed of that. It turns out we had no control over that, and I don't even think that that's an insult. That's just stupid and rude.
Yeah.
So.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, we have a lot for you tonight, and
we do.
Apologies for the late start. In eliminating meta, we've had some trouble getting back to how do we communicate with each other and share like all our stuff we need for the show. And I put it all in the Blue Sky account, and then when I went to sign into my Blue Sky account, I didn't know my password. It's on my phone. I don't remember what. Anyway, dumb. We're gonna start though with everybody's favorite pro se Legally Blonde attorney, Audrey Vallow. I'm not saying
Oh, gosh.
Oh, I said it. Damn it.
Yet another filing from Miss Legally Blonde. So I'm going to share the whole filing with you. Then I'll share you a few screenshots of some of the highlights because this is pretty great. So this is a motion to dismiss for lack of speedy trial. The defendant, Lori Daybell, requests this court to dismiss case, that's in all caps. This is all handwritten though. Case CR 2022-01242-001 with prejudice even. Facts. The defendant was extradited from Idaho on November 30th, 2025 to Arizona. I'm going to stop right here for just a minute, and I want to show you something that I think is going to help you understand why she loved Little Marky Means so much.
Oh boy.
The defendant. It's right there. The defendant.
Oh my God. She learned her lawyering from Means. This is bad. This is bad news.
It is the worst of news. Yes. Okay. I would tell her that, she could have that edited on the internet for cheap, if not free, but, oh no, she doesn't have the internet. Oh, okay. We'll keep going.
She's in prison. Oh good. She's in prison.
Yes. So the defendant was extradited from Idaho on November 30th, 2025 to Arizona. The defendant was arraigned for 2 separate charges. Separate is also spelled wrong, Lori. It is AR, not ER. On December 7th, 2023, a trial date was set at that time for a speedy trial on April 1st, 2024. Then in parentheses, a speedy trial must commence within 150 days. The judge deemed the charges complex, which gives the state 270 days to give the defendant a speedy trial. The new trial date was set for August 1st, 2024, with the last possible day to begin trial September 2nd, 2024, to be in compliance with a speedy trial within 270 days. The former defense team filed a motion for a continuance, which the defendant objected to on the record. Unfortunately, though, darling, they did, and they were representing you. But it was granted, and a new trial date was set for February 24th, 2025. A Rule 11 was also filed by former defense because they think you're crazy, further delaying the trial, and a new trial was set for March 31st, 2025. It has now been 314 days, underlined, since the defendant was arraigned. On January 10th, 2025, Judge Bursky declined to set a trial date on CR 2022, yada, 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 talking about the Brandon Boudreaux charges. The trial date that is set on March 31st is for the other case. I'm not going to read all these numbers over and over. Only, that's in all caps, underlined, and exclamation point. It is the position of the defense that no trial date has ever been set for the other one. This alleged crime occurred over 5 years ago.
And?
Sixth Amendment of the United States Constitution declares, that's all underlined, in all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial. In the state of Arizona, the designated speedy trial is to be within 150 days of arraignment. She is in the margins writing out some laws. If the case is deemed complex, then the date of a speedy trial is to extend to 270 days from the arraignment. No trial has ever been scheduled for the Brandon Boudreaux event. Therefore, the defendant's constitutional rights have been completely violated by the state of Arizona. The only remedy to this violation of the defendant's constitutional right to a speedy trial is to dismiss with prejudice. At no time has a trial been given for Boudreaux. At no time has a trial ever been scheduled for Boudreaux. The defendant's constitutional rights have been violated. The government must follow its own rules. An evidentiary hearing is requested. January 8th, Lori Daybell.
Good luck with that. Because there are a lot of situations that those days, they don't count. Like I don't know, you switched attorneys because your attorneys quit you. And then you went through competency. Those days don't count.
Right. Yeah. There's stuff that's in the way here, for sure. So I was just going to show you a few of the highlights here. This cracked me up with the misspellings. Defendant, separate. Yeah.
I mean, you could have an attorney with Grammarly do these if you weren't so crazy.
Then 314 days underlined for emphasis, and only underlined an exclamation point.
The only thing I see none of here are the air quotes.
I'll give her that. The only
words.
Air quotes in any of it was actually quoting the Constitution. So, and that was appropriate. So I'll give her high marks for that. And then this part, the state of Arizona has had plenty of time to figure this out. This was a page I didn't actually read you. At no time has the state ever been willing to combine these two charges into one trial. Also, I can't decide, is that an A or an E on trial? It kind of looks like an E, in which case, Lori, that would need to be an A.
Yeah, it's tough to tell.
The state has maintained from the beginning that there will be, see, there is incorrect here, Lori. That needs to be a T-H-E-R-E. Gonna have to put a red line on that. Will be two separate, again, incorrect, trials with two separate, oh gosh, juries. Yes.
Also, apostrophe S juries. No.
Yes, that's a no too. Yeah. I wish I had seen this a little sooner. I really could have printed it out and redlined it, you know. Maybe send it back to her.
Marked it up with some notes.
Oh, that'd be funny as hell. Correct it and drop it back in the mail.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Well, anyway, that's what she's hollering about. That's what she wants. Good luck, darling. It's just not... You know who else had their constitutional rights violated? That would be Brandon, and that would be Charles. I mean, because, you know, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is also a part of our country's code. And you denied Charles that and tried to deny Brandon that. But, okay, right. Jan, for sure. For sure.
You're the victim here. Oh, also beginning she got wrong.
Oh, did she? Yeah. This could... No hearts dotting her I's, right?
Shocking.
No, but... Lots of emphasis. I like the effort here. Like she's got a lot of rage going on, you know.
Seems like it, yeah.
Her rights have been violated, don't you know? Yes. But it's not only that. There has also been a filing that interestingly mentions little Marky Means. Mark, are you helping her? Are you sending her anything? I mean, come on. You are her little blue-eyed angel baby. Are you...
You owe her, don't you, at this point, Mark?
If you're not sending her some case law or something, I'm disappointed in you. But also, Mark, you got mentioned. This is a filing that came through... this filing came through yesterday. This is from Craig H. Durham. He is Lori's appellate attorney in Idaho. So this is the guy that's supposed to be filing her appeal, the one that she's constitutionally allowed to have during her, for her convictions. Yeah, for her convictions in Idaho. So I thought this was really interesting. So what they're asking is to augment the record on appeal in this case. Basically, they're saying, can we please just take the deadlines off and just chill out for a minute? Because what happens is every few months they're having to file for another extension because they're not ready. And part of the reason that they're not ready is that there's some stuff that they need that is sealed because it's from other cases, Chad's. Mm-hmm. So one part of this says, because Appellant Daybell does not yet have all of the necessary records, she further moves the court to suspend the briefing schedule until time as the records have been augmented to the record on appeal. So here's what they are arguing about. Lori Daybell anticipates raising claims, among others, alleging constitutional error regarding the district court's handlings of the state's motion to disqualify her retained counsel. The records she seeks to augment are relevant to those claims. On May 25, 2021, the state charged Chad and Lori in a single indictment. The district court determined that they should have separate case numbers with separate filings in each case, though the district court originally intended the cases would be tried together. They were not. The clerk assigned Chad Daybell's case as CR 22 yada yada yada. Lori Daybell's case number was yada yada. Early on, the district court found that Lori Daybell was not competent to be tried, and it stayed her case while Chad Daybell's case moved forward. An issue soon arose regarding the status of Lori Daybell's retained counsel, Mark Means. On July 27, 2021, the state filed a motion in both cases seeking to disqualify Mr. Means. The state contended that Mr. Means had briefly represented Chad and Lori jointly in the spring of 2020 after Lori had been arrested on placeholder charges, but before Chad had been charged. The state claimed that Mr. Means therefore had...
charges?
Really? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, those were the charges of, not proving that your children were alive and well, you dumb bitch.
Yeah.
That's not placeholder charges.
I know. I thought that was kind of rich, too. We were talking about missing children that still hadn't been found at that point. Yeah. I don't know how you could call that a placeholder. No. The state claimed that Mr. Means therefore had a conflict of interest and should be disqualified from representing Lori. The district court allowed the state's disqualification motion to be litigated under Chad Daybell's case number. Mr. Means, Lori's attorney, attempted to intervene in Chad's case, but the district court denied his motion. Yet the district court heard argument from the state and Chad Daybell's attorney on this issue, and it admitted exhibits over the course of 3 sealed hearings, August 30th, 2021, September 8th, 2021, and October 8th, 2021. The court also took judicial notice of the entire file in another related case that the state had previously filed against Lori Daybell. In that precursor case, Mr. Means' alleged conflict had also been briefed, heard, and decided. The magistrate court denied disqualification. The district court relied in part on those proceedings. On December 28, 2021, the district court granted the state's motion and disqualified Mr. Means as Lori's counsel. Ms. Daybell believes that this unique procedure and disqualification of her counsel implicated several of her constitutional rights, including her 14th Amendment right to be present at all critical stages of prosecution, her right not to have substantive proceedings occur while she is incompetent, and her 6th Amendment right to counsel of choice. She anticipates raising versions of these claims in her brief. And it goes on, but I thought that was the more interesting part of it that you guys would find interesting. So yet again, here we go with some little Marky Means stuff and going back to his disqualification. So basically, they're saying that it may have been done improperly and that maybe her rights have been violated. This is what the appellate court does. This is what the appellate attorneys do. They look at everything with a fine-tooth comb to decide, have their rights been violated, or is it possible that they have? We're going to let the panel decide. So it's what they do, but I thought it was interesting that that was coming up today.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty standard before a trial for one of these to get filed, so I'll give her that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, although the delays that have occurred have been, in fact, because of her,
Mm-hmm.
and therefore they don't count against the court.
Yeah.
And honestly, this is still going to trial pretty damn fast, I think.
Yeah.
For the size of this case and all the drama with her competency to still be getting it in only, 14 months after she was extradited is
Yeah.
pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've been quite quick.
Indeed.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't expect that this is going to go anywhere because we've seen this before with cases like this where the judge is like, yeah, well, your attorneys quit and we had to start over.
Yeah.
And then there were concerns about your competency and we had to review it. And that stuff.
Yeah.
That's just kind of, what happens.
Yeah. Yep. So super interesting. That's where it's at.
Yeah, that is where it's at. Well, I wanted to, I don't know, try to give an update in the Billy Wagner Piketon murders case. And honestly, I don't have much of an update because his trial was supposed to begin on January 6th. And there was a hearing in December that signaled that there were going to be potentially some delays. As we know, he got the trial moved in November. They did also drop the death penalty from his case. But their concerns were, the venue change was going to take some time to set that up and schedule,
Yeah.
And I cannot find anything updated. And I've read through everything with the sentencing of the rest of his family, giving us an actual trial date. But his trial should have begun 2 weeks ago.
Interesting.
And it has not. And there is no, as far as I can tell, there is no actual date set for his trial to begin. And it's already been delayed multiple times, as we know. So I've been keeping a close eye on that, just wanting, I just really want for this community, for this to be over for them.
He's such a selfish bitch to be taking this to trial. It's so gross. Considering
his own
that
family's going to testify against him.
His whole family's testifying against him. The one other son who decided to take a trial was convicted on everything. This is just going to re-traumatize everybody. It just seems like it's out of sheer meanness that we're doing this. He's scary.
It is.
Have you guys ever seen a picture of him? He is scary.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
These people are, I don't like to use the word evil, but these people are evil.
Well, come on. You've got to be pretty evil to do what they did. Yeah.
To murder the majority of a family in multiple locations over custody is so hideous. So anyway, if anybody's local to the case, if you've heard anything else, I can't find anything else. I cannot find an update after that December 12th article stating a new trial date. And they said that there would be one coming out, and then it hasn't come out. So anyway, we're going to keep an eye on that because it's important. We'll be covering that. We're not going to stream it, I don't think, but we will definitely be covering it.
Yeah.
So that's what we know.
Wow. Interesting.
Right, Joelle? Joelle says, I still can't believe any of them can be eligible for parole. Me either.
Oh, it's hard to imagine.
The sentencing of Jake and his mother absolutely stunned me. What small sentences they received and got the possibility for parole for the murder of 8 people. What?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, we do know that they dropped the death penalty for him.
Well, yeah, they dropped the death penalty for him with the agreement, he and his mother, with the agreement that they would testify against the dad and the brother.
Well, no, they've dropped the death penalty for dad, too.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was part of the deal, is that they would do that. They would testify as long as no one got the death penalty.
Oh, got it. Okay. Yeah. Which they should all get the death penalty for what they did. This is Billy Wagner.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Piece of trash right there. It's not like there's questions about whether he's guilty.
None.
There's not.
None. No.
He's the fourth member of this family.
I swear to God, he just wants to go to trial just to torment the family just a little bit more.
I'm afraid that he does, and that's so disgusting. So disgusting. So we'll keep you up on that, but I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
In the midst of that, Katie, we got some Kouri Richins news.
Yeah. So Kouri Richins, she has an evidentiary hearing for the next 2 days. So Thursday, Friday. We're not going to stream it because like everyone is, but we will be watching it.
Also, these hearings are brutally boring. We've streamed them before.
And they suck to sit through. We'll keep an eye on it though and bring you some of the highlights and lowlights, but that is happening. The one thing that we know now, there's been a kind of an argument back and forth about the jury pool. So basically the prosecutor was like, what we'd like to do is be able to pull jurors from 2 different counties because the county that we're in maybe isn't big enough for an adequate jury pool, but we don't really want to move. So we just want to be able to pull jurors from this county and a county adjacent. And that's never been done in Utah before. And they've kind of been kicking the can around a little bit about whether or not we go ahead and do that. And it has now been decided that no, you cannot do that. So what they can do is pull jurors from a different county and bring them in, but they can't pull jurors from more than one county. So it's a small thing, but it's a procedural thing that I thought was interesting. So at any rate, you can watch for that, her evidentiary hearing the next couple of days, because that is going to be going on. Yeah.
So we'll keep you updated on it for sure. I did find that very interesting. I wondered if that was even a possibility to take from 2 counties. I've never seen that happen before.
It's not in Utah. Has it ever happened before? And the higher courts said, yeah, we're not doing that. So
I don't know. I think you could really run into constitutional issues with that.
Right.
Be really careful.
Well, right. Because we don't need to see a reversible error here.
No. Yeah, to do something so unprecedented in this really high-profile case, it seems wise that they're not doing it.
Yeah.
Well, since we're in Utah, let's just jump right to Idaho. You guys, you remember a couple of years ago, our legislature pushed through a very hasty, unplanned, screwed up bill about reinstating the firing squad for the death penalty in Idaho. That happened very specifically because this particular legislator wanted to make sure that Brian Kohberger got the death penalty and quicker. Well, said jackass is back. Rep. Bruce Skog from Nampa introduced legislation to the Idaho House this week. And they have to the House Judiciary Rules and Administration Committee on Tuesday. They have voted to introduce the legislation because, of course, they have.
Of course they have, yeah.
What they want to do is they want to make the firing squad the primary way of administering the death penalty in Idaho.
Yeah. Which, bear in mind, we're not even set up for that yet. They're having to remodel facilities, build a new facility, something. They have a bunch of things that they have to do. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not happening. It couldn't happen until at least 2026.
Yeah.
But right now, lethal injection is the way of
it's the only
out the
way
death penalty
in Idaho. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it had been the only way. Yeah.
Right. They introduced this. It made firing squad the backup alternative if it wasn't possible to get the drugs and have the means for lethal injection. Now they're like, let's just screw those lethal injection drugs and go right to firing squad. You know, And he said that they really don't have any concerns around this, other than, I don't know, cruel and unusual punishment.
Yeah.
What in the hell is the administration around this? The building? Who fires the gun? Like, one of the things about lethal injection is when it works correctly, it's quick and painless. Now, it doesn't always work correctly, and it is not always quick. It is not always painless. We know that. But how do they ensure that firing squad is quick and painless?
Right.
Like,
bloodthirsty. These people are so bloodthirsty. Yeah.
It's disgusting and hideous.
But also, they're doing this to the DOJ. This is not a bill that the Department of Prisons wanted. They didn't ask for it. They didn't even know it was written or being proposed. They heard like the rest of us. They had no input into it. And now they're being told that we're going to make it your primary way, so get it figured out. It is crazy.
It is crazy. It's ridiculous. It's so bloodthirsty and horrific. I mean, the death penalty is horrific in all ways.
Yeah.
But firing squad? Are you serious? Do you think this is 1892? Like,
I think some of them really wish it was, to be honest. But
it does seem that way.
It is.
You may have
disgusting.
seen also that one of the executive orders signed by Trump was to make it easier for states to get death penalty drugs so they can just get right to killing their inmates. And of course, he has reinstated, or is about to, I can't remember if he has done it yet or is about to reinstate the death penalty for federal prisoners, which we know there are only 3 left on death row, thanks to Joe Biden. But
3 or 4.
it was
Well,
3.
because 2 denied their commutation.
Yes, that's true. That's true. But that's kind of still in the courts.
Right. And, the ones that he didn't
'Cause
give
they
a
are
commutation to,
appealing.
they are, yeah.
Yeah. But some of those are quite recent crimes, of the 3.
Yeah.
It's Dylan Roof that shot up a black church. It's the Boston Marathon bomber.
Yeah.
And it's that little shit that shot up a synagogue. It's
Yeah.
those 3 that are on
Oh,
federal
yeah, the
death
Tree
row
of Life
still.
Synagogue. Yeah.
Yeah, the Tree of Life Synagogue.
Yeah. Which obviously they
haven't
should
been
be in
on death
prison
row that long.
forever.
I don't know.
Right. They haven't exhausted their appeals yet. So there's
No. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know that it's even possible to execute them at this point. But apparently there's a plan to help states get their drugs, which I don't know what the federal government thinks they can do about that. To be perfectly honest,
right.
I don't
Maybe
think they have any
nothing.
more control over it than anyone else. I mean, the drug companies don't want to make these drugs anymore. They're
Right,
not
it's a-
making them available.
Private market. So,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. So anyway, that's happening here in Idaho. Idaho's gotten off to a real bang
Oh boy.
already.
Yeah.
But it's just gross to me. Like, seriously, you are this bloodthirsty? Why? Why?
Right. Why?
Yeah.
Indeed.
Unfathomable to me, honestly. Speaking of unfathomable, Katie, tell us about the Audrey Cunningham outcome.
Yes. Okay. So we covered this case when it happened, when she was missing, and then when she was found. This is Audrey Cunningham. I don't know. You guys will probably remember this case. This wasn't that long ago. And Audrey disappeared, and then her body was found, and it was determined that a man who had been kind of staying with her family intermittently, or in a vehicle, or a motorhome or mobile home on her property, her family's property, and who sometimes took her to school, had perhaps done something to her. And he was charged, and then unfortunately it all rolled out that he had in fact assaulted and murdered Audrey. She was 11 years old. And his name is Don Stephen McDougal. And so this happened in well, he was indicted in April 2024, so it's only been a year. She went missing in February 2024. Her body was found after 5 days in the Trinity River. This was a horrific case. I don't know if you guys remember, but a lot of you that were here with us probably do, because we covered it pretty extensively when it happened. He has pled.
Terrible.
He took a plea, which good. So here's what happened. He was in court last Friday, and he has again taken a plea voluntarily. He pled guilty to 2 counts of capital murder, or count 2, sorry, of capital murder. The state abandoned one, but explained one of his counts, but said that while additional evidence could have been presented to make the case stronger, that evidence was not disclosed to the defense. So they actually had a discovery violation. But they did get him to plead guilty. So he is sentenced to life without parole. Her family had the opportunity to address him and, said the things that you would imagine. His grandma, or her grandma, sorry, told him that through the end of her statement, she told him, "May you rot in hell." I was glad she got to say that. It seems like in Idaho, they don't really get to tell people off the way they should. Her grandfather also, at the end of his statement, said, "May you burn in eternity in the flames of hell." Good. Yes. So here's what the prosecutor said. This is Shelley Sitton. The Polk County District Attorney's Office is announcing today that Don Stephen McDougal has accepted responsibility for his actions in the kidnapping and murder of Audrey Cunningham. Don Stephen McDougal will spend the rest of his life behind bars without the opportunity to appeal or seek parole. This agreement reflects the gravity of the offenses committed and ensures the safety of our community and our children. So,
this guy.
The reason they did not seek the death penalty in his case is because of intellectual and emotional disabilities. And so Texas law prevents that. But at any rate, that's over. He's going to prison forever, and her family can finally maybe start to heal. And indeed, may you rot in hell.
And may fleas infest your crotch for the rest of your life.
Absolutely. A pox upon you. Yes.
Yeah. Well, in somewhat lighter news, this idiot's been arrested. This is January 6th defendant Daniel Charles Bell, who got pardoned on Monday. This man committed one of the most violent crimes on January 6th of anyone. Mm-hmm. He has been awaiting trial for quite a while now. Mm-hmm. But guess what, guys? He got arrested today. On what, you say? Charges related to possession of a firearm as a convicted felon.
Yep. Because aside from January 6th, he is a felon. He was a felon before that. Yeah.
He's a piece of shit, and he had a .22 rifle with ammunition.
Yeah.
So guess what?
Back
it doesn't
to jail.
matter if he got his pardon or not. He's going right back to jail, which is exactly where he belongs. He is an unsafe, violent human being.
He's had a bunch of charges and convictions. He's scary.
Yeah. He is very scary. So, good news. He's back in jail, which is exactly where he ought to be.
Indeed. Yeah.
For the safety of all of us. Katie, we have good news for you too. This is also good news. Tell us about Danielle Barosi.
Do you guys remember this bitch? We talked about this just a couple of weeks ago. This is that fool that was drunk and belligerent in a bar in Puerto Rico on vacation. And the bar called the police, and they came and escorted her back to her Airbnb that was right across the street from the bar. And she was only gone a hot minute and she showed back up, causing trouble again. And again, they called the police and said, please get her completely out of here, like, remove her from the premises. We don't want her to come back. They quickly locked up for the night, cleaned up, and went home. And Danielle, that wasn't good enough for her. And as it turned out, the landlord of the Airbnb, who, by the way, Danielle was his first tenant ever, he had provided her with a can of gas because he had a generator there because the power fails. The power grid situation in Puerto Rico, especially after their hurricanes, is pretty tenuous. And so he had given her a can of gas. So Danielle thought, they kicked me out 2 times. I know what I should do. I should burn the whole damn thing down. So she came back with that gas can that you see in the picture on the left and set his business aflame, which actually burned down, I believe, 3 businesses, put a whole bunch of people out of work. There was also a boutique hotel there that burned down and endangered the lives of many people, though luckily nobody was hurt. And you know, she just turned around and went back to the Airbnb. Now, literally, she was across the street. One of the things they said was a lot of people in the area called 911. You know who didn't? Yeah. And then the police questioned her about it, and she said, you know what I should do? I should get the hell out of here. So she got on a plane and flew back to the States. Because, you know, why not, I guess. So she came back to Missouri, and there had been talk that she was probably going to catch a charge. She should definitely catch a charge, right? Well, she finally did. She was indicted by a grand jury in Puerto Rico, and she has now been arrested and in federal court. And now there's been an argument that she should not have to sit in jail on these charges. She should get out on bail. Her sister flew across the country, spoke for her, said, listen, I will stay here. She can stay with me. I'll take care of her. I promise I won't let her do any drinking or drugs or anything. And, you know, the district attorney's like, the DA is like, well, or the prosecutor, sorry. It's like, I don't really think, I don't think she should get out, you know, due to the fact that this happened in, you know, another area. She came back. Like, this just doesn't seem tenable. Also, when they searched her home, she got ready to move out. She had a storage unit thing delivered to her house that she was loading her shit in.
So she said it's because to run again.
She says it's because her landlord told her she had to move out, but then they changed their mind, so she can come back and live there, and she doesn't need to sit in jail for this. This asshole has children.
Yeah. But what she did was so malicious. This wasn't just drunken stupidity. This was intentional, malicious destruction of people's businesses and livelihoods and risked the lives of hundreds of people.
And sat in her Airbnb and watched it burn. Yeah. Knowing that people could be inside. Like, totally screw you, Danielle. Sit in jail. She's looking at 5 to 20 years in prison. One of the things that the police found when they searched her home is that she hadn't even unpacked her luggage. Dude, she'd been home for several days, at least, when they searched her home. She hadn't even unpacked her luggage, like washed her clothes, like taking care of her belongings. What are you doing, Danielle? But in her luggage, they found that black dress that she was wearing when this happened. Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to pull that back up.
Did it smell like gasoline?
Probably. Yeah, that dress was in her luggage, as were the clothing that they found in surveillance photos from the airport. So, yeah, Danielle, they know it was you. Yeah. So the judge hasn't ruled yet on whether or not she is going to get out on bail or not. They're supposed to rule on that by tomorrow, but I really hope they don't. I don't see a reason in the world why she shouldn't just stay her ass right where she's at. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, me too, Kaylin. I'm so glad they got her. This was really terrible. And it put so many people out of work and destroyed their businesses. She's definitely a dangerous person. Yep. That is.
Just go do shit like that without knowing the potential people could die.
Yep. Terrible.
Yeah.
So the gas can was at her Airbnb and it was full because there's a generator there because their power grid's kind of tenuous. So that's why the landlord of the Airbnb unfortunately had provided the gas can, not thinking that she would be out there burning down the businesses across the street. Yeah.
Right?
But this poor guy, it was his first Airbnb experience.
That's really sad. Happened. I bet he's like,
probably.
Well, I'm done with this.
I'm out of the business. Yep. Yeah.
That's awful. Well, speaking of people who are out of business, let's talk about this asshole right here. This is Miles Hartford. And Miles Hartford is one of the funeral directors in Colorado that are in deep shit. We have talked about him before. He was the owner of Apollo Funeral and Cremation Services in Colorado.
Yeah.
He was arrested in February of 2024 on abuse of a corpse and theft charges, if you'll recall. Well, he's now facing 2 new felonies. 2 brand new felonies. One is, this is really weird. I don't understand exactly what this is. He's facing felony charges for allegedly hacking in to a former employer's business account in order to pay a Verizon bill.
Oh.
I don't know.
What does that have to do with all of this? I guess nothing, but...
No, this is a separate case, but
what is going on with this guy?
You hacked into a former employer's Verizon account to pay the bill? Well, if you're a former employer, then it's not your phone.
Right.
It's really weird. I'm not fully up on what this means.
What that was about. Okay. But the other charge.
Well, yeah, he's the guy that he'd been concealing a decomposing body in a vehicle for 2 years at his home in Southwest Denver.
Yeah.
The family had actually received cremains.
Yeah.
That they thought was hers, and then they discover this was where her body was.
Yep.
So, yeah, awful stuff that went on there.
He is so sick. He is so fucking sick. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, he is. But now this, first of all, it's a felony to hack into someone else's bill and pay it. Noted.
Okay, I won't do it.
Why was he paying the bill?
I wonder if his phone was still under their account and they had not made their payment, so his phone was shut off.
So he got his phone turned back on that way? Maybe. I don't know. I'm very confused. There's not a lot of information about this yet. But, hopefully all of the charges that this idiot has faced will keep him in prison for a very long time because he is a terrifying human being.
Mm-hmm.
But please, do not be hacking in to your old employer's Verizon bill and pay it because you might go to prison.
And maybe don't
even
leave a corpse in the back of a hearse for 2 years and just let it sit there.
Right.
This abuse of the corpse stuff that we've seen from all these funeral homes is so hard for me to understand. It is so gross and so. It seems like a sacred,
so disrespectful
to me. Right. It seems like a sacred right to care for, people who have passed and people's loved ones. And these guys that are doing these horrific things to these bodies, I just can't even believe.
No. I mean, how
this is happening. Yeah.
How far do you have to fall in your life that you're okay with doing stuff like that? Holy shit. Yeah. Yikes. Yeah. So we'll keep an eye on it. Well, he didn't transfer money from their account, though. He paid the bill.
Mm-hmm.
He paid the bill. Why did he pay the bill? I don't know. It's very weird. I'm sure there's more to the story. But it's really weird. And it just tracks because this guy is really weird.
Right,
So
because
anyway,
there's
keep an eye
just
on that.
more chaos around him and stupid shit. Yeah.
And our last story tonight is, well, it's about everybody's favorite crotch, Brian Kohberger. We don't need to show his face because apparently people on the internet only want to show pictures of his crotch. So why don't we just do that, since we've all been accused of it by his attorney, Ann Taylor?
Yes. So there you go, Ann. We're making you right. Yeah.
There you go. So they had a hearing today, and then there's more hearings set for tomorrow and Friday. Oh, excuse me. In Kohberger. We will not be streaming it because if you have watched the Kohberger hearings, they are the most tedious thing I've ever watched in my whole life.
There's not enough
They
coffee in the world.
Awful. No, because it's pretty much just Ann Taylor running her mouth for hours at a time. Although, I don't think it's going to take that long this time because I watched part of the hearing today and it was kind of just preparatory for tomorrow and the next day. And the judge, one of the defense attorneys said, "Can I bring up one more issue?" And the judge said, "Very quickly." The new judge, as we know, new judge in Boise now. And the new judge is like, "Listen, I've had enough of your bullshit." So
yeah, Judge gave her a lot more leash. This judge is like, no.
So much. Yeah, no. This judge is like, no, we've had enough of this. Very much enough. So this is it's Judge Nye. I always forget. What's his name? It's,
is it Himmler?
It's not
Himmer?
Yeah, it's Himmler.
Himmler.
Not Nye, Himmler. Yes. I can't. Hitler. Judge is so ingrained in my brain that I can never remember the name of this judge. Hitler. Okay, so the next 2 days is a Franks hearing that has been requested by the defense in regards to the DNA. We've heard this song many a time before. The IgG, the genealogical DNA, basically, that they got of his dad, that they used as part of the search warrant or as part of the arrest warrant, and then they, verified the DNA. That's the whole situation, right? So the order that's put out is it's basically the rules for this hearing, which I think is good because Ann Taylor will probably need to read these 17 or 27 times. This is the order governing it. So it starts January 23rd at 9 a.m. They're going to take up testimony related to defendant's motion to suppress genetic information and defendant's motion for Frank's hearing insofar as it regards the IgG investigation. As indicated in the court's oral ruling, this portion of the hearing will be closed or sealed, so we can't actually watch it anyway. Following the close of this evidence, the court will take up the following matters, which will be live streamed on a feed available to the public. So after the evidence is given, to determine to close any portion of that hearing, and they can decide to close it if they need to.
Right.
But what they're going to hear is testimony related to the defendant's remaining motions to suppress. What else you got? Arguments on defendant's motion to suppress and arguments on defendant's motion to compel. Because remember, part of what they're trying to compel is they want, I don't know, someone to have taken a TikTok video like this of how they process that DNA. They've already done a lot of questioning of that DNA person, but they seem to never think that they get enough information about how that DNA was processed. And remember, that DNA was Brian Kohberger's dad.
Right,
and
taken from their garbage.
Taken from their garbage. They used it to match the DNA on the knife sheath. Remember the little, I'm sure it was his thumb doing the strap. Doing
the snap on the knife sheath, yeah.
Yeah, matched it. So then they knew Kohberger was the DNA on the knife sheath. That's how they arrested him in Pennsylvania and extradited him back to Idaho. What they want is stuff I don't fully understand. I don't think anyone does because it's not clear what they're trying to get. They want more details, more information on how that original DNA that was actually Kohberger's dad was processed and how they used it to match it to the DNA of Kohberger, Brian Kohberger.
Well, I mean, really what Anne has been she wants to litigate the constitutionality of the DNA in the first place and of being able to raid somebody's garbage and take their DNA and type it. And, I mean, really, at the end of the day,
she's trying to attack that process.
She's trying to attack that process and whether or not it's actually constitutional to acquire people's DNA in that way. She's just not.
It has stood up before. It's quite new, but it has stood up before.
Remember that this is how the Long Island killer was found and arrested
Golden
as
State
well.
Killer.
No, not Long Island. I'm talking about
Oh, you mean yeah, Gilgo Beach.
Gilgo Beach. Yes, so with the pizza box. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
True.
And many others. But
Yeah. It's in Golden State Killer. That's how they found him, and there's been a lot, but that's what they're trying to fight. So she wants to suppress that evidence and or compel them to turn over whatever more information she thinks that she needs to get that she hasn't already received. And she has already received information. So I don't know. That's how it's all going to go. But I listened to the very end of their preparation hearing today. And the judge said, my main concern here is that Ms. Taylor is going to try to try this case before trying this case, and that's what this is completely about. So I'm going to say that Judge Hippler not really on board with this whole situation.
She is tenacious. I'll give her that. She's actually in another case in Idaho. She's gone clear to the Idaho Supreme Court just recently, or is on her way there, to order the constitutionality of the death penalty. I mean, she is tenacious.
She is very tenacious. Unfortunately, this has already been ruled on by the prior judge. And, they're just trying everything new with the new judge. But this judge is getting real sick of this.
He's pretty leery.
So
it is their right, however. It is their right.
It is.
But
It is their right. But knowing that this fight has already occurred and they lost it, and now they're trying it again. I don't know. Hearing the judge say that, I went, yeah.
No, we get it. Yeah.
Probably better keep this short and sweet, Anne. Just saying. She won't, definitely. That's why there's 2 days scheduled for it, because we all know Ann Taylor is going to talk for 97% of that. But we'll see. We'll see what they say. I mean, I don't have any concerns at this point that they are going to throw that DNA out. I really don't.
No. This won't be the precedent-setting case. Yeah. No.
Yeah. So we shall see. We'll keep you updated on it. As the order says, only part of it will be live streamed. We're not going to show that part anyway because nobody wants to have to listen to that. I promise you.
No.
We'll just tell you about it on Monday. And we'll see. We may not even have a ruling out of the judge on Monday anyway.
No, likely not. Yeah.
Yeah. And with that, that is everything that we have got for you.
Indeed.
So just a quick reminder, we talked about this last night. We'll talk about it again. Just so y'all remember, we will be shutting down our live streams on Facebook and on Twitter as of next Monday. We are just going to be streaming on YouTube. So please join us on YouTube. We are leaving Facebook and Twitter, honestly, for safety reasons. And we are just going to focus on our main platform for live streaming, which is YouTube. So beginning next week.
And then, of course, our podcasting platforms like Spotify.
Yeah. I mean, we're still going to be on Spotify and everywhere like that. But the live streams are only going to be streamed on YouTube. So come find us, True Crime Squad, on YouTube if you haven't before. And subscribe and hit the bell because that gives you the reminders of when we're going live. And we hope to see you all there next week with us.
For sure.
But we will be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Mountain for our last show of the week.
Absolutely.
And you all know it. We are the True Crime Squad. Thanks for being here.
Take care.
6, we're back again. Kristi and Katie, your crime time friends. Stories, justice, laughs collide. True Crime Squad, come join the ride. Grab the clues, let's take a stand. For victims' voices, hand in hand. True Crime Squad, it's time to shine. Season 6, your turn, your time. True Crime Squad, where justice meets hilarity.